What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. Today's video I think is going to be a fun one. I am back on trying the different splits grinds, and a couple of new splits have dropped. So this video, I am trying out Jess's new Split Plus Run. It is a 1 week program on Peloton, 4 days strength split, but then we also split the classes and we're doing a little bit of running, which I'm not usually a huge fan of strength plus cardio, but I did really like Jess Sims' last split, the 3-day 45-minute split. And I just like Jess Sims as a person. So if there's somebody to convince me to work out in this format, it is Jess Sims. So the description of this program is maximize your workouts by training with Jess and her 4-day split plus run. This 1 week program will target specific muscle groups to increase strength and help you reach your fitness goals. Repeat the program and track your progress. And that is pretty much the generic description of every single split. So we have 4 days. We have 3 days that are 45 minutes, and we have a push, a lower body, and a pull day. And then the last day is a 30-minute core and run day, which I think that will be the hardest. If we're having a core focused day, I do appreciate it because my core is weak and I need it. But man, oh man, we'll be on the struggle bus that day. But that day is not today. Today is day 1, which is a 45-minute upper body push plus run class. And push is usually my least favorite, so I actually really like that it's at the top of the week. Like, let's go, let's knock it out now. I got a lot of energy. You know, we had some rest days over the weekend, and I am ready to crush it now. And it looks like we do 30 minutes of strength and then 15 minutes of running at the end. So no like switching back and forth, which I like. I feel like that's a good divide. Get a really good 30-minute strength in, and then the 15 minutes running. And yeah, I would assume that the running is probably a little bit harder today because we're doing upper body, and then like the lower body day will be a little more chill. So with that, let's go to the gym, hit the mat, hit the tread, and knock out the first day in this split plus run class. I did enjoy that class, but man, oh man, was that a humbling one because I did just come off of doing 6 weeks of Rebecca Kennedy's 3-day split. So honestly, I went into this one a little cocky, a little confident. I'm like, I know Jess is hard. Like, I know this is going to be a good workout, but like, I just did hard strength for the last 6 weeks. Like, I'm ready. And I got humbled real fast, but I did enjoy it. The structure was good. But man, oh man, we are in for a doozy this week with this split. So we started off, we had a 4-minute bodyweight warm-up. And in the warm-up, first off, Jess is like, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. We're doing push-ups and they're gonna be at the beginning, which I honestly kind of like push-ups at the beginning, but we'll get to that. And then she's also like, we're gonna do 4 straight sets, and then in between the second and third straight set, we're gonna have a superset. So like, we're working, but she's like, these aren't like my normal boot camp classes. Like, you get recovery, you need to be pushing weight. So I definitely was trying to choose pretty aggressive weights, but honestly, like, I lifted pretty light and it was still hard. So take that as you will. After the 4-minute bodyweight warm-up, we got straight on into our first straight set, which was push-ups, and they're eccentric push-ups, so slow on the way down and then up quickly. 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off, body weight as push-ups typically are. But man, oh man, even this was hard. I mean, I do appreciate the push-ups at the beginning because I do feel like a lot of instructors kind of throw them in at the end of push days, and then they're just like crappy because you're tired. So it was nice that this was at the beginning and I felt like I could really put my all into push-ups. And honestly, push-ups aren't that bad when you're like not that tired. But I definitely didn't do them all off my knees. I started and tried to do 5 off my knees, And then I would go on my knees because I was like literally dying. And Jess is also like, yeah, basically don't do crappy ones off your knees, like do good ones off your knees. And if you can't do good ones on your knees because you want to do the full range of motion. So I appreciate that as well, that it's not just like, yeah, push yourself as hard as you can or like just do crappy ones off your knees. Like it's okay to go down to your knees. So that was already like killer. I don't know, that like really activated my like chest and shoulder muscles already. I was feeling it. Then we went into skull crushers, which was 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 4 times as well. I used 15 pounds. This felt like good. This was probably the easiest straight set for me, but I don't think I could go up to 20. And like, yeah, it still catches up to you. You're doing 4 sets of this. You're going pretty fast. Like 15 pounds on each side is still a good weight for me. So I like those. And like, I always like a move that you can recover on your back. Then we went into the superset, which I think the superset was the hardest. It was 30 seconds of alternating Arnold press and then straight into 30 seconds of overhead extension where you raise both weights, put them together, and then went like this. That was absolute killer after the skull crushers. When I first saw the Arnold press move, I was like, oh, maybe I could push up to 20 for those because in Rebecca Kennedy's split, I was using 20. But then when I saw the Arnold press and like, you're basically supposed to use the same weights, I was like, no, let me just stick to 15 and see. And man, oh man, the Arnold press was just so killer because it uses like the same muscles as the skull crushers. And yeah, that one was definitely the hardest for me. We only did that 3 times, thankfully, but it was like a minute of work and then 30-second recovery. So also less recovery. Then we went back onto our backs to do chest flies. And here Jess is like, oh, you should be grabbing your heaviest weight. So I'm grabbing 25. I don't know, man. Chest flies are hard for me. I was sticking with the 15s and like, I do not think I could go up to 20. It was alternating chest flies. And like, maybe if I repeated the split a lot, I could work up to it. But in no world am I grabbing like my heavy weights for arms to do chest flies. Like the 15 pounds I thought was hard enough. 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 4 times. Like I could do it, but I don't think I could do heavier. And then the last straight set were L raises, again, 4 sets, 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and like alternating L raises, so one side and then the other side. I went down to 12 for this. I thought that felt good. Definitely if I repeat this, I could see myself going up to 15 pretty quickly. But at this point, I was very dead. And like the 12 was still a challenge. We were still, you know, working a lot to get through it. And then there was pretty much like no break at all. Like we were on the tread. So you could pause it. And yeah, I like had already put away some of my weights during the rest. So like I was pretty much ready to jump right on the tread. But just be prepared. We got on the tread, immediately went into easy pace for 2 minutes. And then from there, we went into 30 seconds of hard pace. And at this point, I like didn't really understand what the set was going to be. Like she did say hard, very hard and max pace. And I was like, oh no, like if we don't have walking recovery in this, I'm literally going to die. Like I was so tired at this point. And even like the hard, very hard and max paces, like I need to use my arms a lot. So although we didn't like work out our lower body and my legs were fresh, like my arms were not fresh. But thankfully after the 30 seconds of hard pace, we got 45 seconds of recovery. And that was the structure of the whole class. We did 10 intervals where it was 30 seconds on, 45 seconds recovery, and she walked. So I also walked. I think it would be pretty hard to run at this point. Like I'm very tired. We did 3 hard paces, 4 very hard paces, and then 3 max paces with the last max pace being 45 seconds. And yeah, like I enjoyed this little running hit set at the end. I will say my treadmill is not really set up for hit workouts. It ramps up and ramps down very slowly, but like it ramps up slowly, but it also ramps down slowly. So I kind of figured that it evens out. But yeah, I liked it. It got the heart rate up, but it wasn't like super hard because we did get that walking recovery. I was really nervous for a second. We weren't going to get that, but thankfully, you know, it just was reasonable. And then we had a 1-minute cool down and the class was over. I did really like this. And I also feel like coming off of Rebecca Kennedy's 45-minute split, I was like, wow, we like got a lot of work in for the 30 minutes while still getting a good amount of recovery. So yeah, I enjoyed this class. Like push is definitely not my favorite moves, but it's also nice to kind of do different moves after being locked into the same moves for the last 6 weeks in the last split I did. So overall, it was good. And I like the little cardio burst at the end, got a little glean of sweat in, which is nice because I feel like my other complaint with push classes is that my heart rate stays low the whole time. So I'm like, I know I worked hard, but it doesn't look like it. So now I know I worked hard because I got that heart rate up at the end. Enjoyability, I would give this like an 8 out of 10, which is pretty high for push classes. I definitely enjoyed the running portion more, but honestly, the push wasn't too bad, even with the push-ups. Difficulty, I would give this also like an 8 out of 10. I think it depends like how much you push the weights, and I do think maybe I could have pushed a little more aggressively, although in the moment, I'm not really sure. I definitely see how I can progress if I start to repeat this. But overall, very good kickoff to the first day of the split, and I'm excited for my rest day tomorrow and then to come back and tackle the legs day. It is now 2 days later, feeling rested and recovered, ready to tackle class 2. I wasn't sore at all yesterday from class 1, so that was actually kind of surprising to me because I did feel like I pushed the weight. But I'll never complain about not being sore. Today's class is a 45-minute lower body and run class, and I definitely think this will be the hardest class of the week just because I plan on going heavy during the leg section, and then whatever is in store for us for the run section is obviously going to feel bad after working out the legs. I do think that, hopefully Jess will realize that and give us an easier run, but we will see. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, hit the tread, and knock out class 2 of this program. It is now later in the day. There's just been so much construction happening in my apartment because it's summer. I feel like everyone's moving out, so they're like, time to revamp all the apartments. So I couldn't film when I got back from the gym, but don't worry, this one is still very, very fresh in my mind, mostly because the run just felt so bad. Like towards the end when you like flushed it out a little bit, I guess it felt a little bit better. But man, oh man, at the beginning, I was like, this is going to be so much to just push through this. And it wasn't even that hard. I do run Wednesday evenings and it's Thursday morning. So I don't know if that's part of the reason. Like the strength felt fine. But as soon as I got on the tread, I'm like, man, this just feels awful. But overall, I did like the class. I like the strength section. The run, I got through it, and I can acknowledge that it's good. So it wasn't a bad thing to push myself, but it really required a lot of dedication this morning to get through it. We started off the class with a 4-minute bodyweight warm-up. That was all fine and dandy. And then the strength section really mirrored yesterday's strength section, which is always good. Like, no complaints. I like when things are predictable and there's a lot of straight sets. So I like that. We started off and we did dumbbell squats, 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 4 times. And I used 2 25-pound dumbbells. That felt good. I feel like maybe I could have pushed to 30, but I'm honestly not upset about it because I think you do have to balance that you are going to have to run after this, so you cannot be completely dead. And then compared to the Rebecca Kennedy split I just did, you do get less recovery. So, I was happy with my 25 pounds. Then the next straight set, which was reverse lunges, was the exact same format as the dumbbell squats. Again, I used 25 pounds. This one also felt good, also potential to push up. If I repeated this split, I think this is probably the first move that I would push up because you do have the weights by your side. So I do feel like that makes it easier than compared to a squat where they're racked up. But again, the 25 pounds still felt like I was working. Then we went into our superset, which I really wouldn't consider this a superset, but she did call it that, where it was 30 seconds kickstand deadlifts on one side and then 30 seconds kickstand deadlifts on the other side. We used one weight here and she was like, go heavy. I used one 40-pound weight and I felt like that felt good, especially because there only was a 30 seconds rest before repeating that, and we did that 3 times. I definitely feel like this was one of the hardest moves, this one or the last one. But like, I like kickstand deadlifts. I like that it was in there. And like, yeah, we were really working. I was really feeling it in the glutes. Then we went back to the straight sets, same format as the other two, where we did lateral lunges. And then when we came back to the middle, we did a calf raise and then a lateral lunge on the other side. I actually really like this move. Like, I haven't done a combo move like that. I do think that calf raises don't feel that bad when you only have to do one at a time. Like, I do think that one definitely like builds up really quickly, but because you were doing it with the lateral lunges, that wasn't bad. We used one weight again, and I stuck with the 40 pounds, which again felt good, but it was a good challenge. And then the last move were dumbbell cleans. And I go back and forth on dumbbell cleans constantly because I do like them. Like, at the end of the day, they are a hinge movement, and I do like hinge movements. But I just feel like there's so much potential to getting the form wrong. And then in this dumbbell clean, she wanted you to essentially like clean up and then rack the weights like this, so they almost like stood straight on your shoulders. And she is like, this isn't a curl. Like, you should be doing it with heavier weights than you can do with a curl. But I don't know, for me, like compared to a normal dumbbell clean where you just rack them up, getting them up on my shoulders was really hard. And I was definitely using my upper body more than I should be. And I kept trying to adjust, but it just felt really hard. I used 25 pounds, which is like nothing crazy for a dumbbell clean. We were using two weights, but with the extra, like adding the rotation on, not the biggest fan. And I definitely feel like that made it harder, while like not necessarily adding anything to like what we're supposed to be working out, which is the lower body. But it's also because my form could have been wrong, but like, I don't know what to do about that. So that move was just okay for me. Definitely my least favorite move of the day, but it definitely felt hard when I was trying to rack them up and get them into that like straight line. And then after that, we were on the tread. Another thing that I dislike, and this is a problem with all split plus run classes on leg day, and Jess even commented on this, is like, what shoes do you wear? Because on my arm days, I just wear like running shoes that are not my favorite running shoes because I don't want to put any extra strain on my favorite running shoes, even just doing arm day. So I wear like my second tier running shoes. And then on the leg days, I still do that, but then you don't get like the stability like when you're doing the squats and when you're doing the deadlifts. So I really don't like that. And Jess is basically like, you should choose stable shoes more than running shoes. But like, I cannot run in my normal strength shoes. So yeah, it was interesting that she commented on it. And that's something that I really dislike about the split plus runs on leg days specifically. Like arm day, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, leg days, not a super big fan. But then we got on the tread. I was already tired. Like, I worked hard during the strength section. And the tread section was definitely easier than yesterday's. It was at 1% incline the whole time. And we did 2 minutes easy pace, and then 2 minutes moderate, 1 minute easy, 2 minutes moderate, 1 minute easy, 2 minutes challenging, 2 minutes easy, 2 minutes challenging, and then cool down. So definitely more of an endurance run. But man, oh man, at the beginning, it felt like absolutely awful. I think my legs like could be dead from yesterday, although I didn't run any kind of like crazy amount. And then it got like slightly less worse as I kind of fleshed out my legs some more. But I was very, very happy when it was over. I mean, I did do all of the moves. I went in the center of my zone, so I wasn't even like cranking it out at the absolute bottom. But yeah, it just felt really bad. And like for leg day, I just really feel like I don't need running after leg day. I would much rather just leave it all out there on the strength mat, do my best, because it's also like when I'm doing leg day, I'm constantly thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna have to run after this, so I can't completely burn out my legs. But that's not necessarily Jess's fault. Like, that is just this class format. But yeah, not a huge fan. Enjoyability today, I would have to give like a 7 out of 10. I mean, yeah, the cleans weren't that enjoyable for me. And then the run, like after I did it, I'm proud of myself for doing it. But during it, like your girl was really on the struggle bus. For difficulty, I'd also give it like a 7 out of 10. I think that I like leg moves more. So even if I am working hard, like the deadlifts, I was definitely working very hard, but it's like an enjoyable difficult versus like a non-enjoyable difficult. And then like looking back at it, the run is not hard. I like don't know if it had to do with me working out yesterday night or what. Like, did I not have enough carbs? Who knows? But man, oh man, that run was hard for me. Those are pretty much all my thoughts for today's class. I think just okay. And honestly, this is probably the class that would make me not want to retake this split, but we'll reserve judgment. Maybe if the other two classes really blow me away, I could get more used to doing leg day and then running. But yeah, for now, I just really was not a fan of combining the two. It is now the next morning, and I'm not gonna lie, my butt is pretty sore. I started feeling it last night around the time I was going to bed, which even that's a surprise. Usually I don't feel soreness same day. I feel it the next morning. So I was like, oh no, I am in a treat for tomorrow morning. It's not that bad now that I've like gotten up and walked around a little bit, but I was actually pretty surprised. I feel like it could be because in Rebecca Kennedy's split, we didn't do like lateral work or reverse lunges. So just kind of like new moves makes me sore, because I don't feel like I pushed the weight like crazy hard yesterday, but I guess I did challenge myself. But we are still moving on till today. If I want to do this program in a week, today is a day I got to get a workout in, and I think it'll be fine because it's a 45-minute upper body pull and run class. So the only thing that might be a little bad is the run, but you know, I think it'll be all right once we get to the gym and start working. And I typically really like pull moves. So I think today should be a good day. We're back to arms, so there should be no issue doing an arms workout and then hitting the tread for 15 minutes. And today's actually the 4th of July. So, you know, a good day to get a workout in. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, hit the tread, and knock out this split plus run. That was a fantastic class. I don't know if it's because, you know, it's PTO today or I just really like pull day, but I just loved this class. I had a great time during it. I feel like I really pushed the weights, got a great workout in. And yeah, I just thought it was really fun, even though it was the same exact format as the last two classes. So I think it mostly is that I just like pull moves a lot more. And then yesterday, I didn't like the combo of leg day and the running. So we started off, we had a 4-minute warm up, and then we got straight on into our first straight set. We did 2 straight sets, a superset, and then 2 more straight sets. All the straight sets were the same. We did 1 move 4 times, 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off. The first move was a renegade row in a plank position. I chose 20 pounds, which this was quite aggressive for me, but like it felt like a really good push. Like I was definitely struggling by the end of each 45 second, but with the 30-second recovery, it felt good. I don't see myself going up anytime soon. And like sometimes I had to quickly go into a downward dog and then reset. But overall, I like that move. Then the next straight set was a alternating bicep curl. I stuck with the 20 pounds. Again, this is what I've just been doing in Rebecca Kennedy's 6-week split. So I feel like I felt good. Like 20 pounds is definitely, again, a push for me, but I really like doing 20-pound alternating bicep curls. So yeah, it was good. Then the superset was probably the hardest for me. It was 30 seconds of bent over rows, but alternating and essentially like always alternating, like you should be crossing them at the midpoint and then straight into 30-second hammer curls. I did try 20 pounds for the first set and it was not pretty. The rows were like okay, but then the hammer curls, I like literally could not do the alternating hammer curls with 20 pounds in like the format of them passing each other. So then I dropped down to 15 pounds for the next 2 sets. We only did the superset 3 times. And I felt like that was a good modification, you know, no ego, amigo, as Jess always says. It was okay to drop down. Honestly, the 15 pounds still felt hard. Then we went back into the straight sets and did a dumbbell lat pullover. I used 130-pound. That felt good. She actually said you should only be doing 6 to 10 reps, which feels very low. For 45 seconds, I was hitting like 12. So probably if I repeated this, I would try to go up to 35 next time. But honestly, the 30 still felt like a challenge. And also, I just love a move where the recovery's on your back. This was a nice thing to have in the middle of the class. And then the last move, this one was also hard, was a wide grip bent over row. And you were alternating, but the trick was that you had your hand that you were not doing with in the upward position. So you were always working the arm. It wasn't like it was just hanging there. I used 20 pounds, which was quite an aggressive weight. I did have to stand up sometimes and reset, and Jess is that's fine. Honestly, if you do that, you're gonna feel the progress as you repeat this, and eventually you won't have to stand up and reset. I was still hitting the rep goals. I could do them pretty fast when I was in it, but yeah, that was definitely an aggressive way to pick, but I was happy with challenging myself. I feel like I really struck a good balance of pushing myself really hard, but not going overboard or not feeling like I couldn't do the move at all. I mean, I guess in the superset, I did have to drop down weights, but it feels good to try something and then modify if it's too hard. Then we got on the tread and it was again HIIT, which I kind of figured because I thought it would be similar to push day. This one was 20 seconds on and 40 seconds off. My only complaint, and she does this in every single class, is when you get on the tread, you immediately go to easy. And I would rather have her say do jogging recovery. I think she doesn't want people to walk, which makes sense, although I wouldn't mind a little walk before we start. But going straight to easy, I would rather be at a 5.5 speed, which is my recovery, than 6 speed at easy when I'm easing into it. But if that's my biggest complaint, that's okay. Then we had 12 intervals, 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off, 4 at hard, which honestly, that was not bad. 4 at very hard, which, is getting a little bit worse. And then 4 at max, which is definitely the hardest. And then the last minute was the fourth 20-second max interval, and then 20 seconds recovery, and then 20 seconds max. So we got an extra max interval with not a lot of recovery at the end. And this was all at 1%. I like the HIIT intervals. My biggest complaint, which this is not Jess's fault, is that my treadmill is not adapt to doing these HIIT intervals. So basically I would just jump off the treadmill, wait for it to slow down, and then immediately start ramping it up again because it took so long to get to the actual speed at the top. But I feel like I got a good workout in. I do feel like I got the 20-second intervals in. I just didn't have as much walking out time because my treadmill is slow. But that is not Jess's fault. I will not hold it against her. And yeah, it feels good. I don't typically do HIIT workouts, so it's always nice when an instructor programs it in for me. And then the class was over. I did a 10-minute full body stretch. I have been doing stretches after every single class. So even yesterday, I did a 10-minute full body stretch and I am still sore today. And I kind of think I'm going to be sore from this full day too, because I was really pushing the weight. But it felt really good, and I have a couple rest days coming up, so I'm feeling good about my effort level today. For difficulty, I would give this an 8 out of 10. Again, I thought it was a good difficult versus a bad difficult of giving up. But I did have to modify. I was humbled a little bit in the superset. Enjoyability, I would give this a 99.5 out of 10 though. I really enjoyed today. I don't know, something just in the water that I had a really great time. And I do like pool day. I do like HIIT workouts more than endurance. And yeah, I do feel having the arm section and then running just fits a lot better than the leg section and running. But I promise, I feel like I've been harping on that. This is the last time that I'll bring it up. It's now Monday morning. The long weekend is over and, we got to get into the work week. But first we got to wrap up the split. We did have 2 rest days, so I'm feeling good, feeling ready to tackle this last class, which is a 30-minute core plus run class. But I am a little bit nervous. The setup is 20 minutes of core and then 10 minutes of running. So I'm very interested to see what we do for 20 minutes of core, because that sounds like a world of pain. But we're going to go and do this with a positive attitude. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, hit the tread, and wrap up this 4-day split. I will go on the record and say that core class was not that bad, which I think that's probably the best review I can give of a core class. I do feel like a lot of my split reviews, I say push is my least favorite day, but that's because mostly the splits that I'm doing don't even have a core dedicated day. But honestly, like I was a little nervous going in just because a lot of instructors that do core, there's like no recovery. So I'm like, are we just gonna have 20 minutes of no recovery? And I thought that there was a good balance of like doing good core moves, but then also like still getting recovery and not feeling completely dead during it. So we started off, we had a 3-minute bodyweight warm up, which was just kind of like more core moves. Like we did things like cat cow, dead bugs, still core, but I guess bodyweight core. Jess did stay true to her straight sets. So we started with 2 straight sets. They were both 3 times, a minute on, 30 seconds rest. The first move was a dumbbell pass through, and she said to use like a heavy weight. I used a 20-pound weight, and yeah, I feel like this was effective. Doing that for a minute straight is going to get your core burning. And then the 30 seconds of rest is much appreciated. I felt like the minute on, 30 seconds off was like the perfect amount of rest to recovery, where I felt good going into the next minute, but like by the end of the minute again, I was tired. Then the second straight set was Russian twist. We use a medium weight, so I used 15 pounds. This one was probably the hardest move for me in the class, just really focused on form, which I appreciate because I feel like I do not do Russian twist form well. So I really tried to focus on form, and yeah, this one is just a burner. I have not done weighted Russian twists in a hot second. I am always a little nervous that I'm gonna like hurt my back, strain my back just because I'm doing the movement correctly. But we got through it. It felt good. It felt hard. But yeah, by the end of the minute, I was dying. Then we had like 2 bodyweight supersets, and I like this because we alternated. So we did like set A for a minute, 30 seconds rest, set B for a minute, 30 seconds rest. We repeated that once, so we did each set twice. The first set was 30 seconds bicycles and then 30 seconds tuck-ups. The tuck-ups were a bit hard because you were supposed to go from hollow body hold to a tuck-up position, but we did get through it. And then it was nice because the set B was 30 seconds of twisting mountain climbers and then 30 seconds of shoulder taps. So it kind of felt like you were using different muscles, like you were on your back for set A and then you're in a plank position for set B. So even with just 30 seconds of recovery, it like felt very, very manageable in my opinion. And then after the second time we did set B, so we had already been in a plank for a minute doing the mountain climbers and the shoulder taps. She's just like, hold the plank for another minute, which that was killer. I have not done a 2-minute plank in a while, probably a sign that I should be doing it a little more often. But that wrapped up the core section, which I thought that this was a very, very reasonable core section. Then we popped right on over the tread. We have like no time here, right? Because it's like 10 minutes. We had 1 minute of warm up, which was just easy pace. This is definitely my biggest complaint. And like, yeah, I could solve this. I think the solution would be for me to pause the class and then walk and like warm up more on the tread before going right into it, because like the first couple minutes of every single tread workout feels so bad because there's like no warm up at all. But yeah, we did 1 minute easy pace and then we got right on into the set. We did the set 3 times and it was a hill workout today. So we did a minute of moderate pace at 6%, 30 seconds of easy pace at 3%, 45 seconds of challenging pace back at 6%, and then 30 seconds of easy pace at 3% again. And we just did that 3 times. I do feel like this was like a reasonable running set. We only had 8 minutes, so we had to really get a lot in there, and I'm glad that we did do hills. The easy definitely like felt really good, and like, yeah, moderate and challenging pace are nothing crazy. For me, it just felt bad, like probably the first set and a half, and then I kind of like warmed up more and it felt fine. But yeah, a nice little hill burner at the end. And then we had 1 minute cool down and the class was done. The 30 minutes like really, really flies by. I honestly wouldn't mind a 45-minute core and run class where we ran a little bit more. I just feel like 10 minutes was like really short, but I also get that people like want shorter workouts, and like I feel like the core section was long enough. I just would have liked the run section to be a little longer as well. For enjoyability, I would give this class like a 7 out of 10, which is honestly pretty high for a core class and a hill workout. So, you know, I recognize it's a necessary evil. I am glad because a lot of splits do skip core. They like add it in with the other workout days, which is fine, but like it is nice to have a dedicated day, and like this is the most amount of core that I've done in one time in a very, very long time. So I appreciate it being programmed in. And yeah, I can appreciate the hill run as well. Not super fun in the moment, but it feels good to have got that little hill run in at the end. Difficulty, I would give this also like a 7 out of 10. I think the run was harder. The core to me just felt very manageable, and Jess also offered a lot of modifications. Like we got a lot of recovery for a core class in my opinion, because usually when I think of core, I think of no recovery. So I definitely don't think it was like the hardest class, but yeah, the hill run at the end was the hardest for me. Overall, I probably wouldn't take this split again just because I think I like other splits more. I really don't like the like split plus run format. I'm always willing to try a new split just to see what the instructors are coming up with, but I just feel like it doesn't work in my schedule that well. I would much rather go very hard on weights one day and not worry about cardio, and then do cardio on the other days. But it is cool that Peloton, you know, comes out with something for everyone. And yeah, I feel like, not to beat a dead horse, but the leg and run day, I was really not a fan. But overall, it was still a fun program. I do really, really like Jess. Her personality is great. The vibes were good. The music was good. And yeah, I personally find her very motivating. Like she talks a lot about things being hard. Like even in the core class today, like she's like, yeah, like I don't like core, but I can recognize the fact that like I need to do it, and like I resonate a lot with that kind of messaging. So I really, really enjoy taking classes from her, and I'll always try out new splits from her. That is it for this video. Let me know if you've taken this program. If so, what you think. Also, let me know if you've taken the Jocelyn split plus walk program. I know I just got over saying I don't like cardio with my strength, but I feel like a walk is a little bit of a different story. And I also feel like some people like really, really love Jocelyn. Like she like low-key has a really strong fan base. So I've been eyeing up that one to try out next. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.